So before I start episode 2 review, I just want to say thank y'all for the overwhelming response for episode 1. Now at first I was on the fence of reviewing this season because I'm just like, it's Utah. They might not care, but y'all showed up. So yeah, I will be doing the entire season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So yeah, we're going to go on this ride. I'm thinking this season will be about maybe 12 or 13 episodes with a 2-part reunion. Usually the first season is pretty short. But anywho, let's get into this episode. So we continue from last week where Jen stormed off with her conversation with Mary. And Jen is really cursing up a storm. I would love to repeat what she's saying, but I can't curse within the first 5 minutes of the video. I apologize. But yeah, Jen is pissed. So Heather joins the room to try to calm Jen down, and even from her confessional, Heather's like, this is pretty ridiculous. This is a ridiculous fight. Jen is right. Mary does look like a Christmas tree. What she's wearing is terrible. This green frilly scrub and those white thigh highs and those black lace shoes. No ma'am. No ma'am. So now Mary finally comes into the room and she's bombarded by Jen and her flock of friends. And they're like, why did you tell this woman she smells like a hospital? And Mary's like, well, I didn't say Jen smelled like a hospital. I said the room smelled like a hospital. Girl, just apologize. It was inappropriate. Let's move on. But now Mary's trying to explain her phobias with hospitals. She says she's never been in a hospital before. Oh, except for the time I gave birth. But I just pushed my son right on out and I left. But I'm talking about the time I went to the hospital for her elective surgery to get rid of her odor glands. She said she had 12 surgeries and she was in the hospital for 30 days. And now she has this PTSD with hospitals and the smell because of her elective surgery. Everyone is just looking like, you look foolish. And then she's like, Mary is almost to tears right now talking about this. She sounds a fool. So finally Meredith, the one who is wearing the big pink outfit and the party is for her, she comes in the room and tries to break it up. So Mary finally apologizes to Jen and reaches out for a hug. And Jen, she accepts, but she still thinks the apology is bullshit. So the party continues and Whitney goes up to Lisa, the tequila woman, to see how she's doing. So Whitney is talking to Lisa about the party that she had, and Lisa gave her a bartender and some tequila of hers to use for her party. So Whitney is talking to Lisa about her vow renewal after party, and Lisa was the one that provided 2 bartenders and like a case of her tequila or whatever. So Whitney thanks her, of course, but also lets her know that the bartenders that she gave her, they kind of broke up some of her shit. They were drinking their alcohol because the tequila that she gave Whitney ran out. It wasn't enough. And she said the bartenders were drinking themselves. And also on top of drinking, they also drank some of her husband's expensive whiskey. Now, Whitney, I'm just thinking from my point of view that she's just letting her know thank you, but I'm just letting you know about the staff that you gave me. Maybe you don't want to work with them again. But Lisa takes this as a full-on attack on her business. She thinks she's ungrateful. She thinks Whitney is trash. And Lisa immediately decides to leave the party afterward, just out the doorway, just like that. I'm out. Like, she really got angry. So the next day, we see Jen frantically trying to clean up her house before her husband arrives. Her husband arrives, and then, the house is so clean. It's mostly done. And he asked her, well, how many people did you have? And she lied and said 6, when in actuality she had 200 people over. My God. Heather looks so much like my friend from Atlanta. Hey, Haley, if you're watching, she really reminds me of her. It's kind of crazy looking. So Heather is talking to Meredith on FaceTime. P.S. I finally can tell the difference between Meredith and Lisa. It's coming to me, but I'm still going to refer to Lisa as the tequila woman from now on. But anywho, Heather is planning a ski trip for all the ladies. So now we're with Lisa, and she's still pissed at Whitney for having the audacity to critique the service staff that Lisa provided her. And her poor husband, like, he looks like he can't get a word in. Thanks to production, it looks like she's just going on and on and on about this. And she doesn't even want her husband's opinion on the matter. She just wants him to listen to her complain about how much of a bitch Whitney is. So now we're with Whitney and Heather, and they're just shopping for the ski trip coming up. And then they're talking about Jen's party, and it looks like they have a common enemy in the tequila woman. Whitney tells Heather that she had a conversation with Lisa after the party on the phone, and they were going back and forth, and she said that Lisa is threatening to tell people that she's a swinger. But the funny thing is, it looks like production kind of like entered her voice in that scene, because we didn't see her say swingers. Like, her head was turned, and then we have an audio of Whitney saying, yeah, she said she's going to tell people I'm a swinger. That was an odd scene. And speaking of swingers, we get a little Mormon history lesson from Whitney, because I'm guessing of the whole polygamy shit that used to happen back in the day. So now we're getting a little background of Whitney, and she's just saying how she grew up being this perfect little Mormon girl, and when she grew up, she just realized that this just wasn't for her. And she also mentions she got put out of the church because of the affair that she had with her now husband. Now Heather tells Whitney that Lisa thinks she's better than the both of us, but they're gonna try to keep it cute for this upcoming ski trip when they see her. Wow, this is a really Whitney-heavy episode. I'm guessing they're making up for episode 1. But we're at her house right now, and then we're getting a little background on the relationship that she has with her father. Now, her father enters the scene, and this haircut that he has is really distracting. It's giving midlife crisis. He doesn't look younger with this haircut. He just looks like an immature old person. Like, my God, is that a wig? Like, it just looks crazy. I don't know. And then she says he's like a head salon owner, and okay. So she tells us her dad is a recovering addict, and unlike most of her family, she was the one that stuck by his side because she was always a daddy's girl. He was on the spiral for 6 years, but now he's like doing better for himself. So next scene, we're with Meredith and her husband about to dine out in a restaurant, and already before they sit down, their chemistry just looks off. We find out that they're actually separated, and her husband is asking, well, who else have you been telling that we're separated? I'm guessing it's a secret. They were together for a long time. I'm thinking it looks like 2 decades. They have 3 kids together. But this dinner is just so awkward. Are they trying to get their marriage back together? I'm not following this. Jeez, do they even like each other from this conversation? I'm getting the sense that they're just both checked out this marriage, but they're grasping for straws to find reasons to stay together. And my opinion on this, like, they already like have grown children at this point. They've been together this long. Like, if you're not happy, life is too short. Like, I don't know. I personally wouldn't stay in that relationship. They need to both just leave each other. It seemed like he already lived in Chicago and she lives in Utah. Girl, leave. So it's the day of the ski trip. Mary is late because she's waiting on designer clothing to be FedExed to her so she can wear specifically for this trip. And here we go with Jen, who is extra. Let's just say extra. And she's wearing complete leopard from head to toe. I would not expect anything less from Jen. All eyes on her. Like, some of these girls are dressed to the nines to ski and they don't even know how to ski. And speaking of which, Heather, Meredith, and Whitney, they're the ones that know how to ski. Right now, we see them doing they're practicing for the X Games right now. They are up and down this big ass mountain. And the other girls, who actually are the ones who are dressed down to the nines, who don't know how to ski, they are on the bunny slope with the ski instructor. And they look like they can even barely stand on skis. So we're with the girls that actually know how to ski, and Whitney and Heather are discussing to Meredith their beef with Lisa. Now Meredith is giving Whitney the advice, just talk it out with Lisa. And I'm pretty sure I know Lisa, that's not her heart, like she's a good person. I'm getting to see that Meredith is the Cynthia of the season. Like, she wants everyone to get along. I think she's cool with everybody. She's definitely the Cynthia of this franchise, going so far. So after skiing and some time passes by, later on that evening, the ladies are getting ready for dinner. It takes them so long to get ready for dinner that it looks like the restaurant is closed, but they're staying open just for them. So they're all at the table, and Mary looks crazy. With this big ass poof on her head, it just looks crazy. But the first topic at the table is Whitney telling everyone that she's gonna go to Mary's church along with her dad. Now, I had to Google LDS to see what Lisa was talking about, and apparently that means Latter-day Saints, i.e. the Mormon faith. So they're having a conversation about how judgmental the culture is with the Mormon faith. And Whitney wants to bring her dad to a church that basically isn't judgmental, like the Mormon faith. And it really seems Whitney just wants no part of it. But now that we're on the topic of judging, Whitney brings up to the table that, oh, well, I feel judged by you, Lisa. And she claims that Lisa threatened her over the phone. And Lisa disagrees. She was just like, I wasn't threatening you with anything. I was just telling you what I heard about you, darling. And she says, I'm not judging. I don't care enough to judge you. Which now Heather jumps in. She's like, that's rude. And now we have 2 against 1, Heather and Whitney versus Lisa. Now Lisa says she doesn't care how Heather and Whitney perceive her. And Heather's like, really? So you don't care that I think you're dismissive, arrogant, and a little bit crazy? Heather then takes this opportunity to tell Lisa what she heard from Jen. And Jen is just sitting in her seat just like this, knowing that she carried that bone to Heather. And then Lisa doubles down on the petty, and she talks about a text that Heather sent her, saying thumbs up means fuck you. Now, let me explain the text conversation. Basically, it's like somebody I don't like, and they're checking in on me to see if I'm going to a party. So the person I don't like tells me, oh, hey, how you been? And I'm like, I've been okay. And they ask me, oh, are you going to Jen's party? I'm like, yeah, I'm going. And then they tell you, oh yeah, I can't wait to see you. And then I send a thumbs up. Now, that could be a little bit shady, but to take that as a fuck you, I'm like, you reaching, girl. You reaching. A thumbs up, I'd be like, okay, we don't fuck with each other, but yeah, thumbs up. Hey. That's how I looked at it. So they're all laughing at the table because they know how ridiculous this is. It almost reminds me of the hospital smell argument, and now we're at the thumbs up emoji means fuck you argument. But now we cut to Heather telling producers that the thumbs up absolutely meant fuck you. So which is it, Heather? Which is it? So Lisa then apologizes to Heather and Whitney out of pure frustration rather than just meaning it. Like, she just really wants these bitches to shut the fuck up. So then after that fake apology, they all agree to just try to move forward. And that's where the episode ends. I didn't mind that episode. It was pretty good. I mean, we get more backstory on Whitney. I kind of wanted to see more Jen. But yeah, good episode so far, and kind of weird. They're coming out with episode 3 today. I'm probably going to save that later on down the week, but I'm guessing they released this episode early because Thanksgiving is next week. So I get it. But yeah, I'll look at that episode and maybe put it out maybe later next week, like Monday or so. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I will see y'all for the next video. See ya.